Hey guys, I'm the C-Man235 and I'm incredibly late on this.
Yes, you are.
But then again, so is a couple of other people I know, so fuck it. 2016. It's kind of a meme at this point. 2016 was not really that great of a year for pretty much anything.
Well, gaming, it was a decent year if you didn't own a Nintendo system at least. It was decent for gaming.
Not really.
Gaming, it wasn't bad.
No, it really was.
I mean, except for people who...
It really was a bad year for gaming too, honestly.
Uncharted 4, Doom, Overwatch, just to name some.
And what else?
Well, there was Metal Gear Solid 5, was it that year? Or no, wait, no, it was
No, that was 2015.
Shit. I'm not good at remembering stuff, but Dark Souls 3 came out. And that was pretty good.
Well, for a series I don't care about either, so yeah, there you go. Not to mention that there were like, but that's just thing though, once again, like 2015, there was only a handful of games that came out that were really good. Better than 2015, I'll give it that, but
better
still
than
not
2014
very good.
also.
No, 2014 was a better year than both of those years. Especially for gaming. Anyway.
The only worthwhile Nintendo games that came out were like Pokemon, Sun and Moon, and probably Fire Emblem Fates.
That's debatable, honestly.
Yeah,
Fire Emblem Fates. But anyway, well, when it comes to this year, even just not even going after like gaming, movies, and TV shows, this year was a fucking nightmare because it seemed like whenever we just got over, at least in my life, whenever I just got over something else happened that was like twice as bad.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, it's like all the actors and all the actors and actresses and their relatives start dying. Carrie Fisher died, which was the icing on the shit. The
worst part about that is her mother died the day after.
Yeah, just to spite us, as if hey, as if the icing wasn't enough. Now there's the cherry. And then obviously the biggest thing to make fun of is the election. That's probably the most obvious thing to make fun of is the stupidity of the election. I mean,
people voted for Harambe. There were people like 10,000 who voted for Harambe. Not that it would have made a difference.
All the fucking stupid ass memes too. Thanks.
People voted for Harambe.
Harambe was a better vote than Trump and Hillary.
You know who's?
But okay, that's enough about that.
At least the Pope.
That's enough about that.
Hey, at least the Pope wasn't ill candidate.
It's enough. 2016 overall was a very shitty year. Probably one of the worst in a while for America, especially. Not the worst years of America, obviously.
I mean, Russia. I'm sure that Russia's happy. I'm sure Russia's happy. And Putin.
And Donald Trump with his Russian pee-pee party.
I really highly doubt. I mean, even for him, I doubt that.
Did you like all pee, or did you like? No,
yeah.
I'm not going to talk about the pee. Okay, it didn't happen. It's not as cool as it sounds. All right, next question. I love that. I love those SNL videos. Alec Baldwin is hilarious. Anyway, we're gonna start off with the games, and we're gonna do the movies, and then I'm gonna do the TV shows by myself since Zach doesn't watch anything. So anyway, starting off with some games that came out the years before, but got updates this year. So starting off with Mario Maker updates, Splatoon updates, and Smash DLC updates.
What were the DLC updates for Smash? I don't remember there being.
Bayonetta and Corrin.
Oh, they were the previous year? I didn't.
Yeah, it was very early in the year. It was like February. So that's why you probably don't remember it. But yeah, they came out. I personally really enjoy Corn. Yes, that's his new name, Corn. And Bayonetta is of course fun, though I hear she was also banned for a little bit actually.
Because she was really overpowered.
They nerfed her significantly.
Yeah, but she had like a lot of 0-2 death combos.
That's the thing. Corrin and Bayonetta were both really broken.
Like Witch Time was really overpowered in that, even though you couldn't spam it, but
it was Corrin as well. Both of them were broken when they first came out, but that's because they didn't balance them correctly. They were going to wait until updates to do that, and I don't really see any problem with that since they balanced them out later on anyway. Other than that, typical balance updates, last of some of the DLC. overall, I'd say it was pretty satisfying, and yeah. Mario Maker and Splatoon have some typical updates. Splatoon got the last of its new stages and content, and that's
Finally.
yeah. So, Mario Maker, unfortunately, I think its updates got cut short because of the Wii U's death. Let's be honest here, it died.
It's already
So,
dead.
It's been dead for months, so. It just died in Japan, too, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, shame, but, you know, the updates were good at least. It was nice to see them getting some more stuff after the year they came out, so. Other than that, though, I'm gonna be honest, once again, like 2015, while this year I will admit was better for gaming than 2015, it wasn't better by much. It was just better because 2015 had like 3 to 5 games that were really noteworthy, specifically for being really good, and in some ways even great. But then there were other games that sucked due to troubled development or weren't what they could have been. Companies started falling apart like Konami. 2016 was just as bad in that regard. While it had a few more titles like what Zach may have said earlier, if I decide to keep it, Overwatch and Titanfall 2 and a couple of other games and Anyway, overall though, while it did have more games than 2015 that were enjoyable, and some of those games that came out were really good, unfortunately it just wasn't enough to make
Halo
me satisfied.
5 came out in Gears of War 4.
Halo 5 I thought came out in 2015.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. I thought it came out in 2015.
It did?
Yeah, there was no...
Well, Gears of War 5 4 came out.
Gears of War 5? What the fuck is that?
Gears of War 4 came out last year. It came out in 2016, though. Gears of War 4.
Oh, if you're wondering why Zach is no longer on the camera, it's because he's invisible, so...
Yes.
Damn it, you removed your invisibility. Now you're invisible. Now you're not. Now you're half visible.
My number 9 came out in No Man's Sky. Pretty good games. No Man's Sky.
I was looking forward to No Man's Sky 2, but, once I heard everything
No Man's Sky 2?
No, I know. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, you fucking idiot. I was looking forward to No Man's Sky, and then I had to suck balls, but, oddly enough, a lot of what I have on my list for games is Pokemon related, because it was the 20th anniversary. Like, there were some, exclusive event Pokemon that, we got another Arceus event, so now I literally have 2 Arceuses. I have 2 copies of God.
And one of them's
another Darkrai.
non-legitimate, and one of them's not legit.
No, both of them are legitimate.
Oh.
Yeah, both of them are legitimate, so suck on that.
Sorry, I don't play Pokemon.
We also got shiny versions of a couple of legendaries, and we also got, Jirachi, I think it was Jirachi, we got a lot of shit.
Oh, another Mew.
Yeah, that too. Speaking of Mew, in the first generation, we also got re-releases of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on the Virtual Console.
Then they cost $10 each. That's why I didn't purchase them on there.
It did give me an excuse to play Pokemon Yellow again, and I still enjoyed it, even though it's a broken mess of an RPG, because it's Gen 1. There are like 50 million different glitches in the first town alone. Yes, I did just say the first town. That's not even like a tenth of the game. So, in general, well, it is a product of its time, and it was a foundation that would later be built upon for the rest of the series, and Sun and Moon made that very apparent. But I still thought it was a fun time. Yeah.
At least it had it had a more consistent frame rate than Sun and Moon.
Yeah, but Sun and Moon was just more enjoyable overall.
Yeah.
But we cannot actually get to Pokemon Sun and Moon. First off, we're going to talk about, do you have any games that you want to discuss first?
No, I don't really recall any games that I got that came out this year exactly.
Wow. Shows you of its quality. Shows you of this year's quality. Pokken Tournament was the next game that came out. It was the last game I got in 2016. I got it for Christmas actually, and it is a very good fighting game. I really enjoy it. I thought it was really fun. Single player is ass though. I fucking hated the unlocking shit in the single player, so much so that I even backed up the file on my Wii U system memory, which I know isn't much, but it was able to fit. So
it takes a Master of Unlocking for it.
fucking hated getting Shadow Mewtwo and normal Mewtwo. Like, you have to do over 200 matches.
And weren't they worth it?
Not really, no. Just Mewtwo and Shadow Mewtwo, honestly, are not very good. Like, Mewtwo's problem is that it uses the synergy gauge, for those who don't know, is pretty much a super meter. It's an ultra combo, in a sense. But Mewtwo uses his super meter whenever he attacks, and Shadow Mewtwo has piss poor health and combo potential. But, you know, and they're the only unlockable characters. Which, crappy single player aside, it is a very fun game. The fighting mechanics are really solid. It's I was a little bit bummed out that, unfortunately, when you do split screen, you have to fight at 30 frames. It's not that bad, but I will admit it does noticeably fuck up my combos from time to time, because let's be honest here, when you play a fighting game, you want it to be 60 frames per second.
Yes.
You like fighting games are one of the few genres that have to be 60 frames per second.
It's good to have any genre in 60 frames per second, to be honest.
Yeah, but you don't need it. No, not all the time. You don't need it all the time.
Like, it's great for platformers, also.
Yeah, but do you need it, necessarily? No, you really don't, honestly. Like, but with fighting games, and I also say racing games, but fighting games... No, racing. Nice try, asshole. But with fighting games especially, they need this 60 frames. That's like a definite need. But Pokémon Tournament is really good. I'm hoping it'll be built upon in a sequel. And when the hell are we gonna get that DLC, guys? Seriously, you've announced it. I hope not. I spent $60 on Pokémon Tournament, or my mom did, because she was the one that bought it for me. But still,
$60 for that game.
Yeah, still $60. They didn't price it down.
Nintendo.
Anyway, the next game that came out after that was Pokemon Go.
To the Bulls!
God damn it.
Fire Emblem Heroes is way better.
Yeah, but, you know, Pokemon Go was... It was fun for the time it lasted. You know, it was fun as a fad. It was cool. It also was good because it was the first time I actually was able to get a cell phone, because my brother gave me a cell phone so I could play that game with him, and I actually was able to pay for phone service on that thing, and it's fun to use. It's not in the best conditions, but it works fine for what it is. So, you know, it works really well, and Pokemon Go played well on it when it wasn't crashing on me 50 different times a day, and when the servers weren't down, or hacked by the Lizard Squad, or glitching out, or the trainer's head wasn't as big as the entirety of Russia, or
Solely at Russia.
and them and Donald Trump's PP party. We are not going to talk about the PP. Okay, it didn't happen, and it was not as cool as it sounds. Next question. But anyway,
yeah, games I played.
we are going to bring a thick line of jobs. This will be a golden opportunity. This country will be showered with jobs.
So, Cody, well,
Next
I can talk
question.
about games that I played in 2016, but they
No,
came out.
no, we're not going to do that. Only for we only talk about games that came out in 2016. That's how this works.
So what are we doing now? Movies?
No, because there's still more to do. But Pokemon Go was honestly, my top 10 list honestly says it all with the game at this point. No one's playing it anymore, mostly because it's winter, but even then I don't really think people are going to go back to it because Niantic pretty much killed the game. Because that was my biggest problem, their lack of... them ignoring their fans on how they could improve the game just completely destroyed. I'm not saying... And it's not even, like...
Hey, at least it gave the 3DS some more life.
True, but still...
And, like, how much did Pokemon Sun and Moon combine to sell? Like, almost 15 million?
It was the fastest selling Pokemon game
Yeah, it's almost...
since...
I think it sold almost 15 million.
Probably since Gold and Silver. Speaking of Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon Sun and Moon is amazing. I will admit, I still like Generation 5 more, but this is probably my favorite generation since Gen 5. Not that X and Y was bad, it was just standard, very basic.
Cody, I know a gen you should go back to. You should play the original Gen 3.
Fuck off. Anyway,
I love the pacing of it. It's so greatly paced.
No. But with Pokemon Sun and Moon though, Pokemon Sun and Moon not only it was great because it changed up. I'm gonna do an impressions on Sun and Moon whenever I get to whenever the update this month comes in, assuming they don't delay it again for Pokemon Bank. But Pokemon Sun and Moon is a great game. If you haven't played it and you have a 3DS and you love Pokemon, well, why haven't you gotten it at this point yet? It's probably, it is definitely one of the best Pokemon games in a long time. Slowdown issues and, you know, a couple of other issues aside, it has a great story. I love the trials. They're just as much fun. That's what I was really worried about, was what were the trials going to be. But the trials were actually really fun, really enjoyable. You know, I'll go more in depth with a later video, but Pokemon Sun and Moon is a great game and probably one of the best, most fun I've had with a Pokemon game in a long time. At least, again, like since Gen 5, and the last game came out was in 2012, so in 4 years. You know, Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was great, but it was a remake, so I knew what to expect. X and Y was standard. Black and White 2 was the last really, really great Pokemon game, and I'm glad that Sun and Moon also, that's another thing I'm glad they brought back. Sun and Moon brought back the story and the characters, and that's what I loved about Gen 5, was that it had a really good narrative. It felt more like an RPG because of that.
Hey Cody, how do you like the rival in the Gen 3 remake?
I liked Wally.
No, the rival.
Who is the rival again?
It's either May or the male guy. I don't know his name.
Oh, no wonder I didn't remember it.
They're such a
Yeah,
crappy. They're really crappy.
They have no
rival.
character. That's the problem. They attempted,
and they're always behind you.
They attempted to give May some character, but it was kind of awkward.
But they're always behind you. That's another thing. They're always trying to catch up.
I wouldn't have a problem with that, since they've done rivals like that. Like Sharon was always behind you, and he didn't really know what he wanted to do. But that arc led into what he eventually became, which was a gym leader in Black and White 2. Like, Sharon went through an arc and character development. Yeah, I don't mind if a rival has to be behind you the entire time.
But they never go through an arc.
Yeah, give them character development. Anyway, and after that, the final thing was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I guess I might as well talk about a series that I got into. Marvel vs. Capcom. I actually went back and played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and mostly thanks to my multiplayer matches with him, I actually played around with the game more, and I've finally come to really enjoy it. Still can't play Street Fighter for shit though.
Yeah, you could do it. Just practice. It's not that hard.
I can't get into it. I don't know what it is. I can't get into Street.
It's slower paced.
No, I think it's just a little too.
What?
I think it's a little
it's too.
It's too
precise.
Precise for me. Yeah, I think.
Well, Street Fighter 4, like some of the more complex combos
doesn't matter.
1 frame lengths.
It doesn't. I'm not talking more about comboing. I'm also talking about special moves as well, like the Hadouken and stuff.
The Hadouken is really easy. The Hadouken.
Yeah, the Hadouken is, but moves like the Hadouken, like other moves that they can do.
Like what? You're not as good at the Shuriken?
Yeah, the Shuriken.
Because I think it's like a Z motion you do.
Yeah, I can't do.
God help you if you do King of Fighters and have to do the pretzel motion with Geese Howard.
That's why I won't play King of Fighters. But, you know, I'm much more a fan of the simplistic yet flashy fighters. But then again, you know, well, Soul Calibur is flashy, but not as flashy. But
it's not simplistic really either. It's
yeah, very true. But, you know, regardless, I really enjoy Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 now, which is why I was really happy. Welcome, by the way.
But will they give the Origins?
You're fucking welcome.
Will they have the Origins game though available though?
Not now.
Aww.
Later.
I want to see you face Cyber Akuma.
Oh. But anyway, I'm really hoping they re-release Marvel vs. Capcom 2 though, because, well, I do have it on my 360, so I am able to play it, and that's a great game. I want them to re-release it on the PS3 and the PS4 though, because I like the PS3 controller more. So I think it works better for fighting games. And as for the PS4 port for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, honestly, it's the same game with all the DLC. I love the alternate costumes. I love that I have the characters now. I love the thing that they did add with this, with the art book and with all the posters and some artwork that they drew and a listing of all the games, and that was really cool. it's great, but it only makes it more apparent that Marvel vs. Capcom is fucking expensive because they can't be bothered to re-release all of the games. Which is weird because they have full access, and Marvel themselves have their own gaming studio that is working with them for Marvel vs. Capcom Origins. You know, so I'm really hoping that one day they will. Re-release all of the games. But it's great that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is back, and the PS4 port. If you played the PS3 version or the 360 version, you played the PS4 version. But if you don't have any of the DLC, it's a great thing to get. It's $25, and that's a steal. So, and that's pretty much it for video games. So I shall see you. Unless you have, do you have anything you have to input?
I don't know.
I played Pokemon Emerald. That's not 2016. I played Pokemon Fire Red.
And I don't want to go back to Emerald.
All right. Well,
What a
I guess
drag.
I'll see you guys for part 2 when we cover the movies.
Later.